Hey, and welcome to Sexy Psychology, where we aim to make those brain gains step by step.
Too sexy for my love, too sexy for my love, love's going to leave me.
So let's just jump right into it. Who decides what you are worth? Who decides your value? So before we get there, there are a couple of terms I would like you guys to understand. The first one is self-image or perceived self. That is how we see ourselves. We can see ourselves as kind-hearted people. We can see ourselves as competent people. We can also see ourselves as incompetent people. The other term is ideal self. Ideal self is who we ought to be or who we want to be. The reason why these terms are important because they can affect how we feel about ourselves. So Carl Rogers, the founder of the person-centered approach in psychology, argued that when the ideal self is close to our self-image, we are in a congruent state. And that state is good for us. But when that gap gets bigger, we get into an incongruent state. An incongruent state can cause anxiety and it's uncomfortable. So the question is, what means do we use to get towards that congruent state? And are those means healthy for us or helpful? So before we go any further, it's important to say that even Carl Rogers argued that to be in a perfect congruent state where your ideal self matches your self-image completely is kind of impossible. So how do we get from an incongruent state to a congruent state? Well, I'm not gonna discuss the therapeutic tools to get there, but if this is something you feel resonates with you, I would highly encourage you guys to see a psychologist that uses a person-centered approach. So what I'm gonna talk about in this video is a contributor to our congruency and our self-worth, what we think about ourselves. So bear in mind, self-worth is different from self-esteem. Self-esteem is what we feel about ourselves, and self-esteem can differ from situations to situation. So a person with high self-esteem in a two-person conversation might not have a high self-esteem in a bigger social setting. And that is where self-worth jumps in. Self-worth is something deeper that contributes to your own thoughts about yourself. So for example, where self-esteem might not be so high in a social setting, a person with a high self-worth will have the ability to tell themselves that this does not define them. That even though they might not be as socially active as they would like to be, does not mean that they are not good enough or not valuable enough. So Carl Rogers suggested two locus where these evaluations about yourself can come from. So it can come from an external locus of evaluation where other people's interjected evaluations about you controls how you feel about yourself. However, the problem with that is that you don't have control. So if other people have good things to say about you, you will feel good about yourself. However, when that changes, your feeling about yourself might change as well. So what we want to be independent of other people's evaluation about yourself. So we might consider them, but we want to be in control of what we feel about ourselves. And in order to get there, we need an internal locus of evaluation. And this is very relevant in today's world with social media, where likes, Twitter following, whatever you have on Instagram contributes to a lot of youths feeling about themselves. And this is where I would like to give you guys the brain gain step for this time. So this brain gain step is a bit different. I want you guys to be critical to yourself. I want you guys to ask yourself, how much do I let other people's opinion about me affect how I feel about myself? Remember, awareness is a key step towards change. And this is where I would like to end for this time. If you like this topic, give it a big thumbs up. If you have any questions for me, send an email to this email address right here. I would just like to thank you guys for all the support you guys have been giving me. I know it's a long time between every video, but I'm trying my best. I'm Kasim, and I'll see you next time.
I'm too sexy for my love, too Too sexy for my love, love's going to leave